So for this week's chapters, we had to read chapters 16 and 17. The first thing that I would like to talk about from chapter 16 is the factors influencing business managers. Um, there's a lot of different factors that can influence business managers, and those are tax ramifications, uh, uh, control, considerations, potential liability of the owner, ease and expense of formation and operations, transferability of ownership, interest, and projected life of the organization. And the next thing that this goes into, which I didn't really understand at first, was the sole proprietorship and its advantage and disadvantages. The sole proprietorship, for the advantages, it has ease in formation. Total control belongs to one individual and as uh, has less government regulation uh, to run your business. And for the disadvantages, the ones that I wrote down were personal liability for both personal and business assets, because as a sole proprietorship, you are essentially creating the business yourself, and you're using all of your, like, basically all your business assets are your personal assets at the same time. And then for second one is ownership cannot be transferred to another person. Then moving on to chapter 17, it talked a good bit about financing and different types of preferred stock. The first thing about financing was debt financing, and usually what occurs in debt financing is just notes and bonds. Notes are just short-term loans, and then bonds are longer-term loans. And in debt financing, corporations are liable to the holder of the debt, and then there's equity financing, which is raising operating capital through the sale of stock, equity, securities, or stock options. Now, this shareholders have the right to control the corporation through voting, because since they are shareholders and they have stock in the company, they are essentially owners of they're basically they are owners of the company, and they have a right to make decisions on what the corporation actually does. And they can receive income through dividends and can receive a share in the net assets of the corporation. And then the last thing I want to talk about in chapter 17 was the types of preferred stock. Um, they're pretty self-explanatory to me. There is uh, commu- or, cumulative preferred stock, uh, participating preferred stock, liquidation preferred stock, and then convertible preferred stock. And that is all I really got out of these two chapters. Mostly chapter 16 I thought was a little bit more important, but they were both fairly good chapters. I think this chapter was a little bit harder though. Like, there was more stuff that I didn't really understand at the time, but other than that, they were really good chapters, and thank you for watching.